the opinion that she and the American government are a bunch of cowards. But it's the hypocrisy of the US, where they call homosexuality a human rights issue in Africa. But yet they are doing business with countries where homosexuality is frowned upon. Over $1 billion of military hardware is sold to Qatar almost on a yearly basis. In Qatar, homosexuality is punished by death, not imprisonment. Why are they not threatening Qatar? One of the biggest trading partners of the United States government is Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia, it's punished by death. Why are they not threatening them? Why are they not threatening Russia? Then they come to Ghana and Africa and they want to come and threaten us with LGBTQ. The American government is a bunch of hypocrites.
Good morning, good afternoon, good night, wherever you are. Good greetings. Welcome once again to the world as we see it. This is Baba Shaka, and I want to thank all of you who are continue to support us. We cannot thank you enough. And for those of you who are watching the first time, we welcome you here, and we hope that you stick around. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button and that notification bell so you can be notified when we upload a video. Now, I want to start today's discussion with a question. And here's my question. Have any of you out there, wherever you are in the world, heard about economic sanctions, U.S. economic sanctions against Qatar? Or how about U.S. economic sanctions against the UAE? Or U.S. economic sanctions against Saudi Arabia? You haven't, have you? And neither have I. So, I find it very strange that the U.S. has decided that they actually threatened Ghana in West Africa with economic.
Although it hasn't signed it yet, are there talks with Ghana trying to stop this from becoming law? And if it comes to fruition, is there a sense of what the repercussions, if any, could be from the U.S.?
So we have made very clear what our opinion is on that law. You can look at my statement yesterday, and we have made that clear in private conversations with the government of Ghana as well. I don't think I should get any more specific than that, but if this bill becomes law, it would certainly have a chilling effect on foreign investment and tourism in Ghana. You've seen that same chilling effect bear fruit in Uganda, which passed a very similar law in the past. And I can say that should the bill pass, it would potentially have ramifications on U.S. assistance in the country.
Sanctions. Now, why is this kind of weird? It's all over a bill that the Ghanaian parliament has passed, that they call it the anti-LGBTQ bill. And the parliament has passed it unanimously, I might say. Every single member voted for it because it reflects the will of the people. And we are waiting for the president to sign it. Now, going back to the earlier question, we know that in those countries that I mentioned, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, UAE, homosexuality is against the law and punishable by death. You can get your head cut off if you are deemed to be homosexual or breaking the laws against homosexuality. Yet the U.S. doing great business with these folks, and they want to continue, maybe even increase their business and their connectivity, the economic connectivity with these countries. But the countries in Africa, they treat them differently. Similar thing happened about a year ago in Uganda. And what was the U.S. response? Sanctions against Uganda. Removal of U.S. visas for some Ugandan politicians so they can't travel. Right? Now they're threatening Ghana with the same thing. So, it baffles me that it's okay in these countries, in the Middle Eastern countries, but it's not okay in African countries. And yet, to make it even more baffling, did you know that 27 out of 50 states in these here yet to be United States, that's more than 50%, 27 out of 50 have some sort of ban against the LGBTQ agenda. Here in the United States, we're talking a place like Tennessee, we're talking a place like Alabama and so on. More than 50% of the states in the United States of America have some sort of ban against the LGBTQ community. Yet, I don't hear the Biden administration talking about putting economic constraints on these states to force them to accept the LGBTQ agenda. If you can't do it in your own country, why would you feel that you have the right to try to force other countries into accepting your agenda? You can't even get your agenda at home. Okay? But as I said, it's not all countries that are against this agenda. It seems to just be African countries and Caribbean countries that you want to force your policy on. Now, the bill that was passed recently in Ghana, there's nothing in the bill that says the police are going to knock on your door in, or peek through your window and see what you're doing in your bedroom. Whatever you're doing in your bedroom, that's your business between you and your partner. And this is a quote from...
Practice homosexuality is not a fundamental right. It's not a human right. There is no right in Ghana's constitution, and I'm yet to see any right in any international legislation that confers a right on people because of their sexual preference or gender identity. There is no international law as we speak today, including the UN Declaration on Human Rights, that gives a right on the basis of their sexual preference. But let me be clear on one last thing. As framers of this bill, we're not interested in what anybody does in the confines of their bedroom.
In your bedroom? But when you decide you want to come out in the street and tell the whole world what you do in your bedroom, now then we have a problem. We don't care. Nobody cares what you do in your bedroom. But why do you want to come out in the street and tell the whole world what you did or what you're doing with your parades and your advocacy and all this kind of stuff? Keep your stuff private. Like I try to keep my stuff private. Like everybody should keep their stuff private. Don't think the only person who needs to know what goes on in your bedroom is the person in the bedroom with you. We don't need posters. We don't need commercials. We don't need you going to schools to talk about what you do. Well, if you do, according to this bill, you're going to pay the price. You're going to pay. But here's another question. I got a lot of questions today. Here's another question. What are human rights anyway? Because those who oppose this bill say they want to protect human rights. What are human rights? Well, every country's got their constitution, and according to their individual constitution, they define what human rights are. The constitution in England, they define what human rights are. The constitution in France, they define what human rights are. The constitution of the United States, they define what human rights are. So isn't it just correct that countries in Africa and the Caribbean be allowed to define what human rights are according to their culture and their views? Or because they're from Africa and the Caribbean, they should adopt human rights according to the American views? And not even the American views, because most Americans don't even believe this. We're talking about according to the Biden rules, or according to the rules of some of these Democrats flying around here, right? Here's another question. And a lot of questions today I said, right? Isn't the United States an advocate for democracy? At least that's what they said. I mean, listen to this.
Unity for democracy. We have to stand up for the values that unite us.
President Biden calls on world leaders to protect democracy.
Right here. You heard? They said they're an advocate for democracy. Well, Ghana is a democracy. They have an elected president, and they have elected members to their parliament. They came up with a bill that they put on the floor 3 years ago. They've argued the bill. Those who argued for and those who argued against. They've debated this debate just like they do on Capitol Hill. Just like they do in the British Parliament. Just like they do wherever their so-called democracy exists. And they have decided, based on their practice of democracy, to pass this bill. But the Biden administration is saying, no. It's only democracy when we tell you it's democracy. Whatever you pass in your country, if we don't like it, then it's not democracy. We don't care if you voted for it. You need to vote for what we tell you to vote for. Isn't that and what the Biden administration is good at doing is sending black faces to represent their views. Yeah, they send Kamala Harris over there, where sometimes she's black and sometimes she's South Asian. We're not sure. She's not sure. When she's sure, she's going to let us know, and, we figure it out, right? But they send her over there. They've got all, we've got all these black members of Congress who are pushing and supporting the LGBTQ. And that's fine. But do it in your own country. What you do in America, this is America, okay? You don't have the right to force other nations to adopt your views. You don't have that right, especially when you claim to be advocates of democracy. They have a democracy. They went through the democratic process, and this is the result of it. You need to accept it. Everybody needs to accept, just like you want the world to accept what you decide on Capitol Hill. You need to accept what they do in Accra, and what they do in Nairobi, and what they do wherever it is in Africa that they do what they do. Okay, so I hope that the president, Ado Akufo, what his name is, I hope he has the testicular fortitude to sign the bill that was passed in Parliament unanimously. Of course, he's got under some pressure from the West, and apparently he doesn't deal with pressure from the West too well. Okay, there's also money involved here, and one thing we know about President Ado: money makes the world go around, the world go around, the world go around. You know what I mean? Okay, but let's hope that he has the testicular fortitude, as I said, to sign the bill, and that he's not like the grapes that I keep finding in the supermarket wherever I go. Those seedless grapes. Let's hope he's not like those seedless grapes. So until next time, this is The World as We See It. This is about the Baba Shaka. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you next time. Kwaheri. Assalamu alaikum.